Alright, so for this week, week 8, we had to write up and drop what we want to do for our final assignment to get that kind of looked over, so I will talk about that. Still a bit confused on the game manager part of like what I want to do. So I'll have to look into that based on like the levels and stuff, because right now my only idea is basically loading up a level 1 and level 2, with level 2 being bigger, but might need some direction for that. Then to extend off what we did up here, we need to look at the rock or brick shader and add some selection between like different noise and patterns, and then also make it so we can have color variation between the bricks or the blocks. And then we had to work on the game manager some and add some different things, which I had some trouble with, but I'll get into that. So start off, so we will look at, first thing, we'll be looking at my thing for my final. So I want to use the wave function collapse algorithm to basically give the level sort of a map to use, and then it will be created from that map as I show in the picture. I know, bad drawing, I'm sorry. But I wanted to have like buildings, cars like on the streets, trees with L system, just like different things that I can just kind of put in here, so then it'll make like a little town city thing. The buildings will be made out of prefab blocks, so like each floor of the building will be stacked on each other, and that'll be like one of those procedurally generated thing made out of prefab blocks, so then I can go in, and if I want to change one of the prefabs, it'll be easier to change, and it'll automatically kind of update all of the buildings and make them nice. Whether like, so say I want to have boarded up windows, I can just go into the window prefab, put boards on it, and boom, all of them are fixed. Yeah, and then I will be using shaders in a particle system to kind of simulate rain. I already have a shader that shows raindrops that I showed like last week. Raindrops is in like the ripples when it hits the ground. I finished my raindrop shader for like windows, so I'll be able to use that, and that looks really nice. And I'll see what else I can do. Probably try and add in a like clouds with ray tracing if I have time. Possibly do some lighting effects. But yeah. And then yeah, so I'm still confused on what to do with the game manager other than just making 2 levels. So like setting up, okay, when I load up level 1, it'll be a 10 by 10 level of this. So it'll be generated, and then level 2 will be like a 30 by 30, so it'll be even bigger. More to walk through. Again, I don't know what to set up for this to constitute like a game manager, other than like probably just a state to go from level 1 to level 2. I might do like knocking on the doors or like pickups. I don't know. I need some form of direction with that, because right now like I just have the plan to sort of generate this world. Also I didn't put in here, let me be some also some trees and grass with a wave shader. Just so then I can have like grass on the ground that kind of like flows in the wind, sort of. But yeah, that's my plan for that. I'll save this. Then on to the next part of the assignment, which was the blocks with the color bowl and then the 3 different noises or patterns. So right now they're all black because like if I turn on bacteria, like it gives it the uh, pattern. So I'll go over the patterns first. So I can have a bacteria, houndstooth, and a the brick shader. They're supposed to be. Where's this one? Oh wait. Yeah, so that one also fixes itself. Um, yeah, so I'll just be looking at these ones. So it has the brick, and then say like I want to have brick and bacteria, I can like mix them. Um, gives different effects, and I added in. I worked on rock one. Um, okay. Okay, why is it doing that? Hold on. There we go. So this is sort of how I did that. So I had the three, had them with a multiply node just so I could turn them on and off basically between 0 and 1. Added them all together, and then I have this clamp just so then earlier before I added the clamp in, it was adding them completely, so wherever these would basically overlap, it would have like a 2. So it'd be brighter white on where these overlap, and then a normal white where they don't, and then black. So I just added the clamp in, so then it sort of leaves it at 1, so then it all meshes well together. And then down here is my color stuff, which I'll get to in 1 second. So yeah, so I have this houndstooth, whatever. So I have these different textures in, and then the color bowl. It gives them the random textures or the random colors, and then I can still turn like the bacteria on, houndstooth, bricks. So they all get the different colors. Oh no. There we go. Which looks nice. It gives it a little bit more variety, like with the colors and whatnot. But I'll turn that off again. Actually, no, I'll leave that on. Turn that off. So yeah, there's the colors, which were back over here. So basically, the object position. It's supposed to be something. I don't know. And then the gradient, so then it kind of takes the random range with the object position as its seed with the gradient and gives it a color and outputs that color. So that's where that comes from. And yeah, so then finally, I tried to work with different game managers. It was being really weird. This is the first time that I'm working like strictly with a game manager trying to load in all the stuff. Usually I just give it like scripts and control it myself. But so I use this thing again. When I first started working with it, I was working on the enemy trying to have it like move and stuff, but I will show what happens if I turn that on. I kind of broke it. So the enemy is supposed to jump. Does a little more than just a jump. So that's why I kind of turned the enemies one off, but I was able to add in something on the other. Well, it's just the jump on the enemy is really broken, but I was able to sort of grab it using my door message handler. Um, So what I added in was a scaling up for the door and the enemy. And then I also added in like a rotate Y back um, into the level 1. And then I added into the level 1 the basically go back to 1 function, the repeat function, so then it just replays level 1 over and over instead of going to level 2 and just repeating level 2. So where is it? Jump. Yeah, so up here I added the rotate Y back, which is basically just instead of going with clockwise, it goes counterclockwise. And then the scale up and scale down. My scale down wasn't exactly working, it was doing the same thing as scale up, so I'm gonna look into that. But so I have rotate me and rotate me back. So basically I took rotate me and changed it a little bit by making this negative, which rotates it the other way. And then scale up, I have it so it takes its initial scale and then scales it up. The weird thing with that too is I can show that. So what it'll do is the door will rotate one way, stop, rotate the other way, then it will scale from like a 0, 0, 0 scale and then get big, and then it gets rid of the block in the background. But then it repeats it. But the thing is, so when it gets to about there, it goes back down to that really small scale and then grows again, which has been confusing me. But I like how they scale from, like, because they have the rigid bodies, this one, once it hits the ground, will keep going up, which is nice. But yeah, it just keeps running, going 1, 2, grows, grows. I tried to, like I said, have the scale down so I could like grow up, grow down. And then I don't know what happened to the jump. I didn't change the jump. It's the same jump that I had before, if I remember. Actually, I put this inside of an else statement because this just said else. But even with putting this back to like the way it was, so like putting it back to that way, it still does not work, if I remember correctly. Enemy. Okay. In-game HUD available. Yeah, see, it flies. I don't know why, but it does. Like I said, I didn't even touch anything with its jump in this. It's still just jump. I don't know. But I mean, I kind of touched the game manager. I was trying, but it's just very, very new to me. And I still have this, which I added some of the stuff up here just because it has the my commands. Finds the file paths, which this was all like already here. But I was looking over it. For some reason, the www is like obsolete. It wants a web request. So I don't know. Might be something to look into. But then, yeah, so as the execute command, so it looks at the list, takes it and runs the command, basically prints it out saying, hey, do this. The other script will grab it, say, oh, the message is that, and then runs it. Yeah. So Mostly wasn't that bad. I had a hard week, so try to get as much of this done as I could. The blocks are pretty nice. I have a pretty good idea of what I want to do with this. It's just gonna take time. I do need to figure out what to do with the game manager though, so if any direction comes my way for that, that'd be great. And then yeah, so I worked some with the game manager with this. I also looked at the tank game manager, but that one like it was already fully like pretty much done, and it was everything was there for it, and it works really well. But there was so much more in there that it was hard to like pick out and see how stuff works, so I came back to this one. Yeah, that's it.